My philosophy is very simple. When you see something that is not right, not fair, not just, say something, do something, get in trouble, good trouble, necessary trouble.
He was always different than every member of Congress. Everybody knew what he had done. He was John Lewis.
We're marching today to dramatize to the world that hundreds and thousands of Negro citizens denied the right to vote.
Congressman Lewis gave us the blueprint to organize and to legislate.
The reason why he's effective as a leader is because he's lived it.
We made a decision to march in an orderly, peaceful, nonviolent fashion from Selma to Montgomery.
You are ordered to disperse. This march will not continue.
I was hit in the head. My knees went from under me. I thought I was going to down the bridge.
If John Lewis, as a 19, 20-year-old, wasn't doing what he did, I would not be here.
We will march with the spirit of love and with the spirit of dignity that we have shown here today.
The whole time he was in the movement, it was frightening, knowing the danger, knowing what could happen.
You cannot replace a John Lewis.
He's the most courageous person I ever met.
Too many people struggled and died to make it possible for every American to exercise their right to vote.
He challenges the conscience of the Congress.
Bring common sense gun control legislation to the House floor.
40 years later, John Lewis continues to inspire us.
Are you with me? Let me hear you. 3 civil rights workers that were murdered for trying to help people get registered to vote are looking down on us.
This is a time for action. That's what I learned from John Lewis.
There are forces in America today want to take us back, but we're not going back. We're going forward.
Hello, America. Welcome to Chicago. Oh, we're ready to get in some good trouble, some necessary trouble. I need a partner, and then seeing this event, it's my pleasure to bring up Nate Rogers with Fox 32 Chicago, member of the National Association of Black Journalists. Come on up, Nate. Stand up.
Everybody, Chicago, make some noise! Woo! They did not tell me this many amazing people would be out here. And so before we go a little further, I want to check who's in the room. When I call what area you live in, I want you to scream power. So first, let me hear from the South Siders, power! Let me hear from the West Side, power! Where are my friends at in the suburbs, power! And those all over Chicago, one more time, power! Oh! When I tell you this is amazing, this crowd is shutting down the city of Chicago right now in Daly Plaza. Who says that our presence doesn't mean anything? I see your signs, protect our vote, other signs saying stop deportations, defund immigrants, other signs saying good trouble. Can I hear somebody say good trouble?
Y'all, I know we got some troublemakers up in here, and some good troublemakers, and I'm so pleased to hear that. And I want to let y'all know, Chicago is the flagship, but we want to be certain that everybody knows there are 1,700 activations going on at this moment across America. Standing with you, Chicago. Standing with you. But it's not just in the United States, Nate. We have 5 other countries that have an activations to stand in unity with us today, folks, on this John Lewis Day. Let's play our homage.
So at this time, you all, I want you all to hear one of the incredible voices we have here in the city of Chicago. She has sang all over the world. She's a hidden gem in our great city, classically trained soprano, known for her vocal range, gospel roots, and her sweet, sweet spirit. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to give a roaring round of applause for Felicia Coleman Evans!
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. In the Rockies we gleamed, the bombs bursting in air, give proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Come on, y'all, give it up. Give it up. You know, folks, Nate, always talk about the American flag and the flag of the United States and, you know, how can we continue to have it right side up? We can have it right side up because America knows how to vote. America knows how to correct its ship and get back to protecting democracy. It's all about that inclusion. You got to be certain that you're including everybody and that you're an open heart and an open mind. That's what the United States stands for. That's why we can fly this flag. That's why we can say, I pledge allegiance to this flag because it represents my roots. I will not be denied my history and where I came from. This flag represents us, all of us, all of us. Nate, who we got?
All of us. One of the amazing things, you all, that I love so much about being from the city of Chicago is we have some amazing talent here. And I don't care, this is specifically for those who are watching us from around the world. You may hear a lot of things about Chicago, but what I want you to know is we have some amazing young people in the city of Chicago to take us further in this ceremony, in this ritual of excellence. She is a Southsider, 17 years old, a student at Jones College Prep, a rising star in our city, aspiring to be a singer and songwriter. I want you to show some love for Jalissa Jones.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the glistening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won.
Jalissa Jones.
Jalissa Jones, ladies and gentlemen.
Jalissa and I are not related, but I think we are now. I just claimed her. And folks, y'all around the nation and here in Chicago, y'all see some fists up in the air, and some people a little nervous. Should I put my fists up in the air? It's solidarity. It's solidarity. It's solidarity.
So we have seen your signs, we've heard your calls for unity, your calls to action. We know that every single one that's standing out here today is standing strong on education. You're standing strong for health care. And those illegal deportations we will talk about. Also, social security protection. We have heard your calls and we are listening. Now, to take us further, he grew up at the Rainbow Push Coalition. He's now on the front lines fighting for freedom, justice, and equality. He is the National Youth Spokesperson. Ladies and gentlemen, show some love for Reverend Cameron Barnes.
Thank you, Nate. Now, I'm a Gen Zer. Come on, y'all got to talk to my TikTok. Chicago! I just had to do that. I appreciate everyone. Thank God. Giving honor to God. Certainly giving honor to the Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson Sr., my mentor, and to Attorney Barbara Arnwine, Attorney Darrell Jones, to Miss Betty Magnus, all of them that make this a very possible reality. To all of you that are out here, we couldn't do it without you. I can't hear nobody. Let us bow our heads and pray. Our Father and our God, we thank you that we know you in times like these, but more importantly, we're grateful that you know us. And so we pause now to tell you thank you for assembling us together in the third largest city in America safely in order to call out what we see wrong with wickedness in very high places. We thank you that you've equipped us for this journey. Thank you for those that came before us. Thank you for those that are on the front lines right now. And we really thank you for the boy from Troy that you sent from the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee to the conscience of the Congress, our Congressman John Lewis. Thank you for his life. Thank you for everything that he told us, that our vote is precious, almost sacred, and we thank him for it. We thank you. Smile down on us. Even here in Chicago, across 1,700 activations in America, across 5 different countries in the entire world. Thank you for bringing us together to do what we know how to do. Smile down on us. We thank you, we love you, and we lift you. In your name we pray, amen.
Thank you, Cameron. You know, when we started our first John Lewis National Day of Action, folks looked at us like we were crazy in 2020. What are y'all doing? TJC, Little Transformative Justice Coalition, thinking do some national stuff. And we started out with some 85 states that were represented around the country. But more importantly, we had some national partners that said, I believe in you. I believe in what John Lewis stood for. I believe in the consciousness of Congress. I believe that America can be better and should be better and not bitter. One of those organizations that stood up with us in the very beginning is now one of our national sponsors in the organization of Public Citizen. We welcome, on behalf of Public Citizen, Jonah Minkoff Zern. Jonah.
It's so beautiful to see you all here today. Chicago, one of 1,700 events around the country, and to be able to stand before you. We're angry. Sometimes we're scared. We're fired up. We're determined. But this is our Selma moment. 60 years ago, a young John Lewis crossed the Pettus Bridge. He and those who marched with him knew the violence that they faced if they crossed. But they kept marching, arm in arm. I had a chance to travel down to Selma to meet some of those heroes this spring, to hear their stories. They didn't just march, they refused to cooperate. For 381 days, they boycotted the buses in Selma. For 381 days, they walked for miles and miles. Elderly, young, students, they walked. They practiced mutual aid. Those with cars drove those who had the most need. For 381 days, they refused to cooperate, and they won. And they won. This is our Selma moment. I want you all to think for a minute, to stop and think about why you're here, to think about why you came today. We're here for the immigrants who have been in this country for decades, who are scared that they're going to be torn from their families and sent to a foreign prison to be tortured. We're here for the families of the children swept away by floods who didn't get a warning from the Weather Service. We're here for those who will be swept away by floods because Trump and his cronies are cutting the initiatives to combat climate change. We're here for the disabled children who are losing their services. We're here for the millions of people who will lose their health care because of the big bad bill. We're here because of the people who will have to choose between food and medicine and paying their rent. We're here because of the scientists on the brink of a discovery whose funding has been suddenly cut. Why are you here? Why did you come today? Take a moment and think about it, because this is our Selma moment. We might be scared. There might be moments where we want to just go home, and we have to remember John Lewis and those who marched beside them and the violence they knew they would face, and they marched together, arm in arm, peacefully. This is our Selma moment. This is what we have to do. We have to reach out beyond our normal coalitions. We have to reach out to people who can tell their stories, to labor, to faith, to veterans, to people you wouldn't normally reach out to. Invite them to join us. We have to commit to organize, to sign up to say we want to be part of this for the long term, to get trained, to go to the next event, to keep going back to the streets, in moments of distress to take the streets, to build big movements like this one with 1,700 events and hundreds of thousands of people around the country, and to build towards Labor Day that Chicago Teachers Union is playing a major role in leading. There will be a massive day of action around the country. Remember that for Labor Day. Let's get started to build for that. Let's make good trouble. Let's refuse to cooperate. Let's organize. Let's vote. Let's march. This is our Selma moment. Let's stand together, arm in arm, and let's be brave and not afraid and march on.
Thank you, sir. How you all feeling, Chicago? Well, we got to really have some high energy for our next speaker right now. I don't care what you've heard. I don't care what you think. More than 27,000 young people in the city of Chicago have summer jobs under his administration. He continues to work for a better, stronger, safer Chicago. And over the weekend, he showed the world his drumming skills at Gospel Fest. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the city's 57th mayor, Mayor Brandon Johnson! A West Sider!
Wow! Well, look at you, Chicago! It sounds like we're ready for the fight. We're ready to save this democracy. We're ready to throw down authoritarianism and build a democracy that works for everybody. Are you with me, Chicago? It is truly an honor to stand with you all today as we continue our fight for freedom and justice. And tonight we honor the life and the legacy of a true freedom fighter, Congressman John Lewis, a man who fought for the cause and put his body on the line for justice. And Congressman Lewis taught us that there are times when we must defy the status quo and push back against unjust laws. And let me tell you, that time is now. There are times when we have to march forward, even when it's difficult, even when the risks are real. And let me tell you, that time is now. Tonight, we follow in the footsteps of making good trouble, trouble that will engender confidence across this country that liberty and justice for all is not just a tagline, but it is truly the goal and the hopes and aspiration of those who have come before us. As the federal government is chipping away at our democracy and working to erase our history and silence our voice and strip away our freedoms, we are here to stand firm that even in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth from working class to billionaires in our lifetimes, we are not going to settle, sit down, cower, buck, or cry, but we are going to march. We are going to push for policies, and we are going to ensure that the oligarchy and the wealthy in this country pay their fair share in taxes. You know, I'm reminded as a history teacher of the Supreme Court Justice Louis Brandeis, who once said, "We can have a democracy in this country, or we can have great wealth concentrated in the hands of a few. But we cannot have both." And make no mistake about it, our nation is not making a slow creep to the right. This is an alarming and fast descent to authoritarianism. And history tells us exactly what authoritarianism will lead if we let it. But history also tells us something more important. It tells us that the power is in the hands of the people. John Lewis left us a mark when he showed us how we can really wield real power and affect change by standing up to tyranny. And sometimes that means bucking the status quo and be willing to do whatever is necessary to secure our democracy and to protect our humanity. And that is the kind of power that we need today. Chicago will not be complicit. We will not be silent. But Chicago will take on the banner that people like John Lewis and the Reverend Jesse Jackson have left for us. And so what does that good trouble look like? That good trouble looks like we have to stand up to Donald Trump's militarized ICE force that has more resources than militaries across this country. His private, hand-picked militarized force will not intimidate us. They will not come in and kidnap our people, but we will stand firm as a welcoming city, ensuring that the immigrant community is protected. And let me make something absolutely clear in the most emphatic way. We will not cooperate with ICE. Because if they are willing to come after undocumented people, this is the same force that works to intimidate black and brown people across this globe. We will not be intimidated by the militarized force that Donald Trump has put before us. Just like Dr. King said, whether it's racism, whether it's militarism, or whether it's capitalism, we will stand up for justice in Chicago and lead the way for the rest of this country. And not only will we protect our immigrant community, Chicago was proud to be the safest space for the LGBTQ plus community. We will protect our brothers and sisters who are part of the LGBTQ plus community. But we will also ensure that we defend public accommodations. We will protect our public education system. Public education at the expense of the state is an idea that comes from black liberation. And anyone that comes after education is coming after the very people who built this nation. And that's why I am proud that the Chicago Teachers Union protected in their contract Black history, LGBTQ rights, protecting workers. That's the type of power that we possess in this city. Good trouble also means protecting the freedom of choice. Anybody that wishes to control a woman has obviously not met a woman. Let me just make this emphatically clear. A woman's right to choose what she gets to do with her body is something that is sacred, and we have to protect it. But I just want to close with this. This is about protecting our fine established institutions. This is about also making sure that we do not surrender our humanity. There are divisive forces that are looking for us to turn on one another. This is a moment in which we have to turn towards one another. There are people who are feeling powerless and hopeless, but I'm reminded of the great Saint John Lewis, who said in a very emphatic way that sometimes it's necessary to punch back. And this is that time in which we punch back. And so we punch back in a way that provides opportunities for our young people. We punch back to make sure that we provide opportunities for Black and brown communities. But this is also a time for us to punch back, to unite every single corner of this city. Equity and justice is the righteous call for everyone, whether you are Black, brown, white, Asian, young, old. This is a country that has been established by the hopes and the dreams of those who came before us. And we are not going to allow a tyrant and a little small-minded man stop us from building one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty, from one corner of this country to the other, and justice for all. God bless you. God bless the greatest freaking city in the world, the city of Chicago.
All right. That's your mayor. That's right. That's Chicago's mayor. Chicago's mayor. Boy, Mayor Johnson spoke about the Chicago Teachers Union. I just wanted to lift up. One of the former presidents of the Chicago Teachers Union, who is 105 years old, and said, I got to be here to stand for my people. Y'all give it up, Beatrice B. Lumpkin. Beatrice. Ready to get into the streets, ready to get in good trouble, 105. I don't want to hear any excuses as to why you can't get in good trouble. Watch Miss Lumpkin get in good trouble. It's my privilege to now bring up a person who can tell you a little bit about fighting in the courtrooms, fighting for the Constitution, fighting for liberty. They've been involved in litigation where they've been fighting against the deportations and disappearances of people, fighting against Alligator Alcatraz in Florida, fighting for trans rights throughout America, and fighting for birthright citizenship to remain in place. Y'all give it up, fight the power with the communications director for the ACLU of Illinois, Ed Yanka. Ed.
Good evening, Chicago. I know you've heard this before, but let me just ask one more time. Are you really ready for some good trouble? You know, we gather today to remember the legacy of the great John Lewis. For many of us who do this work every day, John Lewis is a model of fairness, of decency, and of the work for equality. He was a man of kindness and understanding. And he was also a man of fierce determination. And most of all, John Lewis was a man of courage. He showed personal courage fighting for civil rights, equal access for all, and for voting rights. He demonstrated that courage in 1961 when he was beaten by a white mob in a South Carolina bus depot. And of course, as you've heard, he showed that courage again in 1965 when he was savagely beaten by state police at the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. John Lewis literally put his life on the line to build a better America, to give everyone an opportunity for a better education, a decent wage, and the fundamental right to vote. On the other hand, we have the current administration in the White House that likes to project strength, as they call it, and claim that they are courageous. But that courage is about as fake as their claim that they won't cut Medicaid. So let us be clear. It does not take courage to roll back federal civil rights laws in our country by maligning DEI. It is weakness and it is not courage to deny people an opportunity to a quality education, suggesting that the only people should be permitted to succeed in our society are those who are rich and powerful and well-connected. It is not courageous to send masked, unidentified, heavily armed ICE agents to patrol our streets in unmarked vehicles and kidnap our people. It is not courageous without any authority to attempt to strip birthright citizenship from our Constitution and claim that a president of the United States can decide who gets to be a citizen and who doesn't. It is not courageous to attack trans and non-binary people. It's not courageous to use the awesome power of the federal government to deny life-saving health care to those folks. It is not courageous to deny Medicaid benefits to people living with disabilities, to cut off SNAP benefits for children, and to dismantle fundamentally successful programs like Head Start. And it sure doesn't take courage to try to destroy the Voting Rights Act and limit participation in our electoral process rather than expand opportunities to vote for everyone. I am proud that the ACLU has been in court all across this country fighting each and every one of those actions. In less than 6 months, we have filed more than 68 lawsuits against the Trump administration, and we've actually gotten relief from the court in more than half of them that shows just how wrong he is. We are out to fight against these cowardly acts from this administration, from their cruel, venal immigration enforcement and detention actions to working to protect programs like Head Start and pushing to ensure that birthright citizenship remains in the 14th Amendment to our Constitution. But here's the truth. Here's the truth. The work to protect civil rights does not begin and end in the courts. Protecting and extending basic rights has never been a judicial question. It's about people power. It has always taken we, the people, all of us, joining together in tiny acts of courage and defiance to bring about the change we want to see. In the past 6 months, we have gathered in this very space for the hands-off rallies. We gathered here for the No Kings rallies. And today we gathered again. But this cannot be the end either. We have to continue to show up in ways large and small, even when it feels scary and even when we feel like it's a little bit out of our comfort zone. In the words of Congressman Lewis, you cannot be afraid to speak up and to speak out for what you believe. You have to have courage, raw courage. We need your courage today more than ever. This administration wants to cower us. They want to make us frustrated, and they want to make us give up. To that, I say hell no. Today, we can pledge ourselves again, as you've heard, to making good trouble and to fight together for everyone's rights, to fight against those who are trying to rewrite our history into something dark and ugly. We must have the courage to keep working and to keep showing up. So let us recommit ourselves today to that good trouble in the name of John Lewis. Thank you all very much.
All right, Chicago. United States, y'all getting ready to hear somebody that doesn't need the microphone. When I tell you it's loud, it's going to get loud in here. It's getting ready to get hot in here. It's getting ready to get hot in here. Is that what they say? It's getting ready to get hot in here. All right, y'all, it's my pleasure to bring up the founder and the president of the Transformative Justice Coalition, my co-leader. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for attorney Barbara Arnwine.
Chicago is on fire! Oh yes, I'm back. Good evening, good troublemakers. All over the country, you are watching this national broadcast. I've been hearing from people from the District of Columbia. I've been hearing from people from Massachusetts. They're watching. They want you to know they love some Chicago. This has been an amazing day. From early this morning, all day people have been gathering, marching, conducting community service, and holding rallies, but they all are driven by one common thing, and that is the John Lewis spirit of getting into good trouble, necessary trouble. So we want to say today, before I came up here, some people sent me some clips of pictures of MSNBC. And what they had on the clip was, check this out, everybody, was that Trump, in the middle of all the backlash to his lies about the Epstein files, that people also, they said, but look at all these marches. Look at the good troublemakers. Look at all of it. So people, you are not only making history, you're shaking up this whole nation. Thank you. thank you for what you do. Thank you for being out here on this Thursday night. We are so grateful for you. We want to just say, I just want to say one thing as I do a very short speech, because I got to hear from my young one who's going to bring us some John Lewis words coming up. But I do want you to realize that there's one thing that we want to take forward from this, is that nobody will ever stop us from multiracial organizing. Nobody will ever stop us with their evil voter suppression. Nobody will allow us to fall for the capitulators. These law firms, shame on them. These colleges and universities, shame on them for capitulating. In the time of trouble, you don't roll over, you fight. You fight. You fight. You fight with everything you got. You fight and you fight some more. I want us to be clear that we are here to say yes to racial unity, yes to full voting rights for all, yes to the protection of the poor and vulnerable, yes to protect our brothers and sisters. I'm in a hotel where ICE is. ICE has been operating like what, folks? A Gestapo. We're sick of it. All this unlawful, unconstitutional actions. We are here because we believe in the full breadth of our Constitution, from the First Amendment to the 14th Amendment, to all our rights. We will not give up. We won't let some monarchy, wannabe dictator turn our country around. It is time for us to move forward, and people, keep tight to your fight. Keep tight to your vision, because that's what's going to compel us when you don't see anybody else around who's thinking like you. That's what's going to move you and keep you strong. Turn to each other right now and say, I love you in this fight. I love you in this fight. People say, why are you guys playing music? Why are you dancing? Because we love the fact that we can gather together, that we can come together. We will never stop. So keep tight to that vision. Never stop fighting for an inclusive, robust, unfettered, representative, multiracial democracy. Keep tight. That's our vision. That's our fight. That's where we're going. That's what we will accomplish. We will never stop until victory is won. Thank you.
When I say good trouble, you say necessary trouble. Good trouble. Good trouble. Good trouble. Come on, Chicago. I love it. At this time, we do want to acknowledge Congressman Jonathan Jackson, who was on program to speak, but doing the work of our nation, our city, and our land, he's caught in Washington, D.C. right now in a congressional session. But can we please stop and show some love for Congressman Jonathan Jackson at this time? Now, here's something, you all, that we don't talk about much, and that is the people, all of you who deal with our young people. I'm talking about parents. I'm talking about educators. To everyone here on Daily Plaza right now who is a parent, who is a teacher, show some love. Now, I want you all to know, Chicago, I absolutely love educators. Educators are the most underrated. They are the most underpaid. Every time you see an educator, you need to show some love. But before I bring this next educator to the stage, we have to properly set the stage. Under her administration, 325,000 CPS students. I want to talk about the historic contract by the CTU. A 16% pay raise for all CPS teachers. Come on, y'all, show some love. 800 new staff positions, 90 more librarians, 200 more special ed case managers, 400 teachers' aides. Guess what, y'all? This was all negotiated without a strike. In case you didn't do your homework, it was the first time in 15 years. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, she ain't afraid of y'all. She says what she means. CTU President Stacey Davis Gates.
CTU! 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 Make some noise, teachers! The Chicago Teachers Union is a union of teachers. The Chicago Teachers Union is a union of paraprofessionals. The Chicago Teachers Union is a union of clinicians. And the Chicago Teachers Union is a union for the people. And as a history teacher, I must remind you that John Lewis saying good trouble and people believing that good trouble ain't disruptive trouble is a false retelling of history. John Lewis' first draft of his speech on the March on Washington said that we have to burn down the policies and the ideology of Jim Crow, the gifts of the Confederacy. And sometimes if we not just know our history, but apply our history, we don't make the mistake of electing the Confederacy. When we understand our history, we also understand that Alcatraz or Alcatraz alligator is another symptom of the prison industrial complex. If we understand our history, ICE is only able to kidnap people from graduations in front of schools because John Burge was able to kidnap people from the South Side of Chicago. When people don't honor their history, they are bound to miss the lesson. As a union organizer, though, I know the power of a common good union that opens its doors and its bargaining power to protect children who are queer, to create the capacity for a contract to remove lead and asbestos and mold and to get with it in this green, sustainable economy. I know a contract can raise wages, but it can also lower class sizes. I know a contract can hire more staff, but it can also house unhoused students and their families. And I know that as a union organizer in this moment, you have to find both your history and your power. So let me tell you a story as a history teacher and a union organizer. It was a coalition that reunited this country after it was broken apart by the Civil War. It was a group of enslaved Africans on plantations all across the South who said that they were not going to work anymore that they were going to stage a general strike for the democracy of this country and for the humanity of the people in this country. So they, with abolitionists, with women leading movement, created the opportunity for this country to reunite because they broke the backs of the Confederacy with a strike. As a union organizer, I have to tell you that coalition, multiracial, multi-generational, and women-led gets us the goods. When you know your history, you know that fascism doesn't stop in the courthouse, but on the streets of every city, every county, and every state in this country. So organize, mobilize, create the opportunity to win a democracy, not the one we had, but the one that gives us health care, all of us, the one that funds public education fully, the one that houses every last one of them. Our country, our vision, our dream, our, not his, not theirs, not the wealthy. We get an opportunity to live in a country that forces the wealthy to pay their fair share and that houses each and every one of us. Whose schools? Whose city? Whose state? Whose country? Whose country? Whose country? Whose country? Whose country? Whose country? Whose democracy?
Stacey Davis Gates, y'all. Stacey Davis Gates. The wonderful thing about teachers, they get a chance to see their results as their students show what the teachers are doing in the classroom. It's our pleasure right now, my pleasure, our pleasure, to bring up 3 students that are going to lay it out to you in the reading of the farewell address from John Lewis. You're going to hear Bradley Holt, Apollonia Jackson, and Kayla Bell. Y'all give it up for our students. Bradley Holt.
When the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won,
While my time here has now come to an end, I want you to know that in the last days and hours of my life, you inspired me. You filled me with hope about the next chapter of the great American story when you used your power to make a difference in our society. Millions of people motivated simply by human compassion laid down the burdens of division around the country and the world. You set aside race, class, age, language, and nationality to demand respect for human dignity. That is why I had to visit Black Lives Matter Plaza in Washington. Though I was admitted to the hospital the following day, I just had to see and feel it for myself that
Emmett Till was my George Floyd. He was my Rashard Brooks, Sandra Bland, and Breonna Taylor. He was 14 when he was killed, and I was only 15 years old at the time. I will never ever forget the moment when it became so clear that he could easily have been me. In those days, fear constrained us like an imaginary prison, and troubling thoughts of potential brutality committed for no understandable reason were the bars. Though I was surrounded by two loving parents, plenty of brothers, sisters, and cousins, their love could not protect me from the unholy oppression waiting just outside that family circle. Unchecked, unrestrained, violence and government-sanctioned terror had the power to turn a simple stroll to the store for some Skittles or an innocent morning jog down a lonesome country road into a nightmare. If we are to survive as one unified nation, we must discover what so readily takes root in our hearts that could rob Mother Emanuel Church in South Carolina of her brightest and best. Shoot unwitting concert goers in Las Vegas and choke to death the hopes and dreams of a gifted violinist like Elijah McClain. Like so many young people today, I was searching for a way out, or some might say a way in. And then I heard the voice of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on an old radio. He was talking about the philosophy and discipline of nonviolence. He said we are all complicit when we tolerate injustice. He said it is not enough to say it'll get better by and by. He said each of us has a moral obligation to stand up, and speak out. When you see something that is not right, you must say something. You must do something. Democracy is not a state, it is an act. And each generation must do its part to help build what we call the beloved community, a nation, and a world society at peace with itself.
You must also study and learn the lessons of history because humanity has been involved in this soul-wrenching, existential struggle for a very long time. People on every continent have stood in your shoes through decades and centuries before you. The truth does not change, and that is why the answers worked out long ago can help you find solutions to the challenges of our time. Continue to build union between movements stretching across the globe because we must put away our willingness to profit from the exploitation of others. Though I may not be here with you, I urge you to answer the highest calling of your heart and stand up for what you truly believe. In my life, I have done all I can do to demonstrate that the way of peace, the way of love, and nonviolence is the more excellent way. Now it is your turn to let freedom ring. When historians pick up their pens to write the story of the 21st century, let them say that it was your generation who laid down the heavy burdens of hate at last, and that peace finally triumphed over violence, aggression, and war. So I say to you, walk with the wind, brothers and sisters, and let the spirit of peace and the power of everlasting love be your guide.
Let's give our young people one more round of applause. For those of you that know a little bit about public speaking, it's not easy standing in front of people. So one more time for our young people here in the city of Chicago. All right, you all, we're almost out of here. Next, we'll bring to the podium the League of Women Voters, Jane Ruby, Becky Simon, and Marsha Johnson. Let's welcome them at this time.
Good evening, Chicago. My name is Jane Ruby, and I am president of the League of Women Voters of Chicago. I am humbled to be standing here with so many incredible people and to be able to speak briefly on behalf of the League of Women Voters of Chicago and to introduce two fellow League leaders who will also be speaking today. Becky Simon, president of the League of Women Voters of Illinois, and Marcia Johnson, chief counsel of the League of Women Voters of the United States. The Chicago League has been proud to participate in these days of action since they began. Our deepest thanks to Rainbow Push and Betty Magnus for her years of leadership on this event and for inspiring everyone lucky enough to be in her orbit. And special thanks to Dr. Barbara Arnwine and Daryl Jones for their incredible leadership on behalf of the Transformative Justice Coalition and the entire coalition family. Whenever we talk about American democracy, we inevitably find ourselves in the shadows of giants. And few cast a longer shadow in the moral history of this nation or stand taller in our collective memory than Congressman John Lewis. There's no denying that our democracy is under a threat as never before. To protect voting rights, to fight voter suppression, and to make American democracy fair and free for all, we're going to need more people like John Lewis. Today, let us each commit to organize more, to register more voters, and to speak truth to power more vigorously. If nothing else, let us all pledge to keep making good trouble, the kind of trouble that changes hearts, changes laws, and changes history. Because honoring the legacy of John Lewis demands more than words, it demands action. Thank you.
Hello, Chicago. Got a surprise. I know who sent you tonight. John Lewis. John Lewis sent you. His legacy lives on in you. Every day, we need to remember John Lewis's words, and we need to act on them. Get in good trouble, necessary trouble. When you see something that's not right, you have to do something. John Lewis did not tell us to spend our time doom scrolling on our phones. John Lewis did not tell us to go to a book club and chatter endlessly and complain. He told us to act. That is what we're called on to do. So here is your mission. I'm giving everybody here tonight some homework. Listen up. Every morning, when you pour that first cup of coffee, pause. Think to yourself, what can I do today to defend democracy? Do what John Lewis would do. Act. Thank you.
Good evening, Chicago. My name is Marcia Johnson, and I'm the Chief Counsel and Chief of Activation and Justice for the League of Women Voters of the United States. It's a privilege to be here today honoring John Lewis's legacy in the city where the League of Women Voters was founded 105 years ago. I can't thank you enough for having me here today to get into some good trouble with you. Throughout his long career, John Lewis remained a steadfast champion of civil rights, urging Americans to make good trouble in the pursuit of justice and equality, which is what brings us here today, to this moment. Events like this encompass my vision for America: democracy, community, unity. Right now, the League of Women Voters has called what we are witnessing a constitutional crisis, and we're urging people to unite and rise. The League continues to insist on the passage of the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act, crucial legislation needed for a true democracy, a true multiracial democracy, I urge you to continue making good trouble and to unite and rise.
All right, everyone. Now to take us a little bit further to speak to us about non-visible disabilities and Medicaid, another Chicagoan. Let's show some love for Mara Lynn.
I'm waiting for the music to stop. Hey everyone, thank you for being here. My name is Mara. I'm a white woman. I have dark hair, purple glasses, and I'm wearing a shirt that says Rise Up. I'm usually out there, like literally out there with you guys. I'm never over here. This time I'm on the side of the stage, even though it's very difficult for my brain. Today we listened to John Lewis, who devoted his life to encouraging people to show up and speak out. Medicaid is under attack, and one of the reasons I'm able to be standing here is because of Medicaid. Everyone repeat after me. No cuts to Medicaid. No cuts to Medicaid. That was awesome. I've had epilepsy my entire life and spent decades seeking out different solutions until my only option was brain surgery. And not just one, but I had 4. And they were excruciating and traumatic. I'll never forget the debilitating pain or my shaved head with a ton of staples all over here. My face was huge and swollen, I was black and blue, and I looked like I'd been hit by something. That's almost 40 years of debilitating seizures. My journey has been agonizing and filled with dread, and of course, really expensive. 2 critical parts of my brain were removed, and that's not something you just recover from. I live with lasting cognitive, emotional, and sensory struggles for the rest of my life. But I'm still here. Thank you. And I'm here because of Medicaid, for real. One of the most frustrating parts of this journey is the stigma. People on Medicaid are not lazy, okay? We didn't choose this path. Not all disabilities are visible, and the need for Medicaid is. Maybe you don't need it today, but one day you or someone you love will. Cutting Medicaid won't balance the budget. It will only take away people's best chances at survival. So like John Lewis said, let's make some noise and get into good trouble. We must protect Medicaid for us, for future generations, until there are, okay, repeat after me, no cuts to Medicaid. No cuts to Medicaid. And rise up, fight back. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mara. We want to be certain that everyone in this country, everyone in Chicago, everyone throughout the world knows the impact that some of these cuts will have on everyday, ordinary people. We want to bring up 2 more speakers to talk about those impacts, Donna Carpenter and then Monique McClure. Donna.
Hello, Chicago! As you stated, my name is Donna Carpenter. I'm a parent leader of Power Pack of Illinois, and I receive SNAP benefits. SNAP is an essential resource for my family and my community. I am the primary caregiver of my elderly brother. He'll be 73 next month on the 17th. I took him in because we lost our mom, and no other siblings would step up to take care of him. And I also take care of my adult son with disabilities. My youngest daughter also lives at the home with me and is expecting her first children, and they are twins. Pray for me. My household is growing, and now is not the time to be losing benefits. I already had the experience of a cut to my benefits recently. I had to figure out how to make little bit stretch a long way. It's like the more we work and the better your family, the more they take away your benefits. Then the little income you do have, you have to to go towards covering groceries for the benefits that you lost. And therefore, the income can go for towards figuring out your other finances goal. It's a loss. It's a loss situation. When times get hard, I know where the food pantries in my community to access them. But lots of families don't have that information or face challenges in being able to get to the food pantries. We need unity together at this time and make sure we share resources. I am here today not only speaking for me and my family, but also to raise my voice for the families that can't speak for themselves. 2 billion was just a slash from SNAP. If you ever benefited from SNAP or know someone who has, now's the time to speak up. Share your stories. Let these legislatures know, our community know, this program matters. Thank y'all.
Okay. Ooh, it feels real good to be in Chicago. Hello, everyone. My name is Monique McClure, and I'm a mother of 4 kids from East St. Louis. And as a leader of the Parents United Exchange and branch of Power Pack Illinois in community organization and family issues, I'm here to tell you that Medicaid has helped me and my family a lot. My son is autistic and needs speech therapy. My granddad needs treatment for his diabetes and kidneys. This Medicaid cut that the Republicans and Trump passed are going to be a terrible thing for our community and put so many working families behind. Our community is already facing a lot of challenges, and Trump is cutting more jobs. I was working with AmeriCorps at a school in my community and got no notice before my job was cut. You cut the jobs, but you want us to work to get health care. That don't make any sense. Now I'm a Lyft driver, and I drive a lot of people to get to their doctor's appointments. And I know that these cuts are going to make it so hard for people to get to get the care they need. I came all the way from East St. Louis to say that in Illinois, we need to come together to fight so that these Medicaid cuts don't hurt our families. Representatives, senators, we need to step up and get in some good trouble with us, like John Lewis wanted. Let's fight, because when we fight, we win.
Thank you, Monique. One more round of applause, everybody, for all of our speakers. Haven't it been great? And I really applaud all of you that have stayed here as Mother Nature's trying to do something a little weird, but we're all ready for it. We got just a couple more speakers left, you all. Normally, there's a lot of people that are used to being in front of the camera, right? But we know that many times our true heroes work behind the scenes. I got to tell you something about the next young lady I'm about to introduce to you all. She has worked for the Chicago Public Schools for decades. She served at the Rainbow Push Coalition for years. She has probably spoke at every black church in the city of Chicago. And for those non-black churches, she is your pastor's best friend. You all know her as the Reverend Dr. Attorney Jeanette Wilson. I know her as Auntie Jeanette. Ladies and gentlemen, my hero, Reverend Jeanette Dr. Wilson.
We are the Rainbow Push Coalition. If you're a part of Push, wave your candles. We are excited tonight. We don't just stand here to commemorate the work of a great man, John Lewis, who got into good trouble, starting with the March on Washington, and then he went to march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge for our voting rights. And then he took his passion to Congress, where he fought for legislation for all people. But I don't stand just for John Lewis. I stand in the tradition of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and the Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson. We don't just stand and wave our candles and wave our hands. We are going to take it to the streets. We're going to take it to the voting booth. You already know the problems that we face with the cuts to SNAP, the cuts to Pell Grants, the cuts to Medicaid, the cuts to everything that we fought for all through the 60s, all through the 70s, all through the 80s, all through the 90s, and we're going to keep fighting. But you and I are going to register more voters than have ever been registered before. We're going to take our children college by college, high school by high school, to the voting booths. We're going to make sure that in the midterm elections, we turn the United States House of Representatives blue. We're going to turn the U.S. Senate blue. We're going to change the course of history. We're going to fight for our rights. We don't have to worry about what's happening now. We're going to change it in 2026. How are we going to do it? We're going to organize. We're going to build our coalition, city by city, state by state, congressional district by congressional district. We're going to change the state houses. We're going to change the federal houses. We can win if you vote, if you believe. You're going to keep hope alive. Say, we're going to keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. We're going to vote about it. We're going to march about it. We're going to win in 2026. No more. We're not going back. We're not going to be deported. We're not going to be left behind. We are moving forward, backward never. We are somebody. Keep hope alive.
Reverend Jeanette Wilson, y'all. Auntie Jeanette. We're pleased to now bring up the one of the folks from the Citizen Action Illinois, which is Illinois' largest public interest organization promoting public policies that reflect and embodies social justice. Y'all, please give it up for William McNary.
Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up.
Well, good evening. You know, my mom always told me you can tell what kind of a crowd you're standing in front of by the way they greet friends or by the way they greet strangers when they greet you. So let's try that again. Good evening. Now that's more like it. You all do my mama proud. At Citizen Action, we say there are three kinds of people. People who make things happen, people who watch things happen, and then there are people that don't know what's happening. I can't think of any place else in the world I would rather be than right here in a rally full of the greatest city in the whole world, Chicago, Illinois. In a group of aggressive progressives and compassionate conservatisms. People who are active participants in the movement for social justice and social change. Democracy is not just a verb. It's a noun and a verb. You all are not just a barometer. You all are not the thermometer. Y'all don't just measure the temperature. You all are the thermometer. You all change the temperature. And because you all are gathered here tonight, I believe our nation's citizens to be, and yes, even our nation's immigrants will all breathe freer because of the work that you activists and advocates and activists are doing, have done, but most importantly, what you all are getting ready to do. And if y'all believe that, why don't y'all celebrate yourself with a great big round of applause? Let them hear you all the way at the White House. I guarantee you, I've already received more inspiration than I can possibly give. And we believe that rallies should begin and end on the same day that they start. So let me be time sensitive on my topic. If you're looking for trouble, you found it. Good trouble. Fight for democracy and justice front and center of America right now. And as we approach the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution, we understand that this is not just a fight for an independent nation. It also established a constitution, an idea that we are all created equal, that we are all entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that every man and woman should have equal access to equal rights and equal power. And I'm talking about Dr. Martin Luther King's definition of power. Power is the ability to achieve purpose. It is the strength required to bring about social and political and economic changes. Power is not only desirable, but is necessary to implement the demands of love and justice. We have a values-based document in government, and it's called a budget. Our federal budget sets our nation's priorities For where your treasure is, there shall your heart be also. And when the government sets the wrong priorities, it is the people who pay the price. We need a fair, responsible budget with adequate revenues and no more cuts in education or healthcare or human services or public safety. This is not about price. This is about priorities, and we need to change our nation's priorities. You are the people that can do it, and the time to do it is now, right now, right now. Lastly, let me suggest that we progressives stop feeding into people's cynicism about our ability to serve people. And let us stop feeding into people's cynicism about government's ability to serve people. Because people are going to take their leadership cues from you. A little cynicism, especially in this administration, is healthy. But too much cynicism kills people's hopes and it kills people's spirits. Fear can make people do a lot of things, but hope can make them do much more. And so we are to overcome people's mistrust of government and change our government's priorities. You all must firmly believe in your ability to organize for change, to organize for power, and to organize for democracy. And if we are to achieve this just and noble goal, this can't just be that we're to the left of America and we are righter and we are smarter and we are better and we are purer than everybody else. We have to see ourselves in the center of people's lives because that's where we live. That's where we are. It's not us. It is our politics that is off center. We have to reach out and embrace the model that we are our brother's keeper. We are our sister's keeper. They can only win if they divide us. Black against white, citizen against immigrants, taxpayers against public employees, educators against social service providers, straight against gay, Chicago against the rest of the state, seniors against young people, Christians against Muslims, Jewish people against the Palestinians, the poor against the middle class, the disabled against the non-disabled. That is so cruel. That is so cynical. That is so divisive. We are better than that. We are so much better than that. Let there be no divisions among us. Let us all be joined together in the same mind. Lastly, I was brought up Baptist. I closed more than once, but I guarantee you this is my final close. Let us come together and build that beloved community that the late Congressman John Lewis talked about. He said, freedom is not a state, it is an act. It's not some enchanted garden perched on a distant plateau where we can finally sit down and rest. Freedom is the continuous action we must all take, and each generation must do its part to create an even more fair and even more just society. So, fellow troublemakers, one final old school moment for the great philosopher Sly Stone. From my album, best album, Stand, he says, stand. There's a cross for you to bear, things to go through. If you're going anywhere, stand. Don't you know that you are free? Well, at least in your mind, if you want to be. So troublemakers, stand. We're going to stand up against tax cuts for millionaires and billionaires and no cuts to education and health care and food for children. Stand. We will proudly and boldly stand in solidarity with our citizens to be, our neighbors, our immigrant friends, our workers, the people we love and rely on. We're going to stand up against the rule of law and against the tyranny of a president who wants to be an authoritarian king. We're going to stand up for the rights of women to control their own bodies. We're going to stand up and make sure that we take those who are trying to take food away from children's mouths. We're going to stand up for workers the right to dignity in their workplaces. We're going to stand up for seniors who have a right to secure retirement. And yes, we're going to stand up for our gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, queer brothers and sisters. You are not a faggot. You are my brother. You are not a bitch. You are my sister. We're going to stand with anybody that tries to deny you your humanity. In the words of John Lewis, thank you for your legislation. Thank you for your love. And thank you for your dignity. John Lewis, thank you for your broad shoulders we stood on. We'll take it from here. We'll take it from here.
William McNary. Thank you so much, Mr. McNary. You know, I want to thank, and we want to be certain that we thank everybody here in the city of Chicago for coming out and being so hospitable to this John Lewis National Day of Action. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Brandon Johnson. Thank you, Chicago Police Department. To Black Voters Matter, thank you. League of Women Voters. Declaration for American Democracy, Public Citizen, American Federation of Teachers, thank you. National Education Association, Indivisible, Leadership Conference for Human and Civil Rights, ACLU, Illinois, thank you. Thank you, Southern Poverty Law Center, 5051, Rainbow Push Coalition, thank you. Fat Fight Back Table, thank you, Mi Familia and Acción. Thank you, Mi Familia Bota. Thank you, National Conference of Black Lawyers. Thank you, all the local groups and grassroots folks that were there. We especially want to thank Betty Magnus and Donna Gutman for their leadership in this effort. We want to also thank the co-MC on this event, Nate Rogers, who just did an awesome job. Folks, please light up your candles, hold up your candles. Let's be certain that we take this glory forward because the battle goes on. The battle lives in each of us. The dream of John Lewis, the belief of the beloved community, it carries on through us. So folks, this ends our program here in Chicago, Illinois, but it doesn't end the struggle. It doesn't end the dream. It doesn't end the spirit of Congressman John Lewis. Bless you all. Have a great night.
One day